Black infants in New Jersey face significant risk of death before their first birthday. AHEART Ministries is an organization that is helping to improve those odds. And when it comes to maneuvering through the legal system, what should you consider? We discuss this and more with local attorney Jonathan Diego. It's so here on the next Latino Motion. Join us.
Choose to get lost in the woods to gain experience in forest management.
Choose to travel through time to understand the past.
Choose to soar to pursue a career in dance.
Stockton University offers 50 high-quality academic programs, small class sizes, and affordable tuition. Choose to match your interests and talents at one of New Jersey's nationally ranked universities.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, a member of Geisinger, Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world, and South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias and welcome to Latino Motion. A Black infant born in New Jersey faces significant risk of death before age 1, a disturbing fact that has captured the attention of New Jersey's First Lady, Tammy Murphy, and a local organization, AHEART Ministries. Joining me to discuss the work of AHEART are Sabrina Showell and Sania Hargrove. Ladies, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for having us.
It's a very disturbing fact that what faces Black infants born in New Jersey, and in fact, the data really goes on to say that they're 3 times more likely of death. Tell me about the work you're doing and how you're helping infants to have a better success of life.
So AHEART has actually been around for about 10 years now. In 2008, our founder and still director, Robin Hargrove, she was a case supervisor for CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates. So she had access to be able to hear these cases. And she was really troubled about all of these families who wanted to take their infants and their grandparents and their grandchildren in, but they didn't have the finances to be able to do it. Now, we did have DIFAs and you do have other programs. However, there is a gap in between the time where you actually get the funding. So she created AHEART, which stands for All Hearts Educating, Advocating, and Transforming the Lives of Infants in Crisis, to be able to supply a need for that gap.
And certainly it's very much needed in our communities. Tell me about the work of AHEART.
Well, AHEART, we have an office in Egg Harbor City and one in Vineland. And what we do is we ask the participants to get a referral from either a doctor, a caseworker, or a hospital aide. And they'll bring that referral, just making sure that they are in emergency need. And once they come there, they're allowed to come once a month. And we'll give out items for free, such as diapers, wipes, clothing, if we have car seats available or strollers available, something that they need that's essential to that child's survival.
So how important is it that first year? How important is it for that mother, that caretaker, to have that kind of support?
It's absolutely important. And being able to have that funding, because a lot of times the initial experience of being removed from the house, being removed from their family, we want to make sure that they are put in place with other family members and not put into the system. So to be able to do that, we have to support the family who want to take them in so that they do have the access and they are not nervous about taking the children because they don't have the finances.
And of course, this service programs available regardless of race.
Regardless of race, we actually have, if you are a teenager, you're automatically enrolled in our program if you're pregnant. We ask them that they have the baby 2 years under 2 years of age, and you're automatically enrolled in AHEART if you have your referral.
So the referrals, the people refer themselves to you, you get referrals from other sources?
Yes, we get referrals from churches, hospitals, DIFAS caseworkers, social service agencies, and any other organization that we partner with that knows about AHEART's program, that knows the eligibility requirements. They're able to refer to us also.
And it sounds like you depend on volunteers and that you also
absolutely.
donations as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. Donation is a huge thing that we do, which we host baby showers, which is an opportunity where someone can have a baby shower at their house and invite friends and have food and things.
Wonderful idea.
Absolutely.
So
And
there's great opportunities for anyone that's watching this program
Yes.
to get involved and help support this great effort.
yes.
We want to talk a little more about that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion. We continue our discussion with Sabrina Showell and Sania Hargrove with AHEART Ministries and the fine work they're doing to help at-risk infants. Ladies, we mentioned the great work of this organization, and what captured my attention was the baby showers. You do community baby showers as well as you could do your own baby shower and donate to the agency. Let's talk about the community baby shower. Tell me about that.
Yes. So what we do a lot of times is you can have your own individual baby shower, but some people may not feel comfortable with having or hosting their own. So we do large baby showers where you can just host a table and invite some friends, and then we will take care of the rest. And of course, bringing in the items for the infants that we need as well.
So what kind of items do you typically request of people to bring to the baby showers?
We typically request diapers and wipes. Those are
Vital.
to an infant's survival, especially in the first year, but all the way up to size 6 diapers we ask for, preemie to size 6. We also ask for clothing. We ask for hygiene products, nail kits, teething rings, things like that for an infant.
Now, I know you have one coming up July the 28th. It's pretty close to the airing of the show, but you do have these constantly, and you could check in the website. So let's talk about this one. It's going to be held from 1 to 3 at the Embassy House of Zion. And for more information, where can you get that information?
Well, they can reach out to me either through the website. We have a contact form on the website, or you can email us at aheartministries609@gmail.com. You can also call us on our 1-800 number, which is 1-800-376-4616. I believe the option is option 2 for AHEART Ministries.
So let's say that, and what captured my attention was that you could do your own baby shower, and I think maybe a lot of the ladies would like to do that because this is such a great cause. If they want to do one at home, what do they need to do?
Well, if you want to do one at home, that's great. What we ask you to do is to send out some invitations, to get your friends and family. Ask them to bring an unwrapped baby gift or to put it in a baby bag or a gift bag. And they'll come into your house and we'll do a presentation. AHEART has our own slideshow, and we'll tell you the history of AHEART. We'll tell you the statistics for New Jersey and for the nation and versus worldwide, what the infant mortality rate is. And we'll play some games. I mean, you can't have a baby shower without games.
No, that sounds
So
like fun.
definitely have some
And
fun.
do you provide the support if someone wants to do their own?
Yes.
Absolutely. And we also get to hear some of the stories of the infants that we actually take care of. And we don't show the actual pictures just for the family's sake,
Right.
but you do get to hear some of the stories and actually feel like you're a part of what you're giving to.
So it sounds like a lot of fun and something that certainly a lot of people could participate. Plus, you could use volunteers as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, we definitely need volunteers because AHEART isn't funded. We use volunteers for, in the office. We need them behind the scenes. We need them to set up to help us break down things. Just to get the word out, we need volunteers in Vineland, in Egg Harbor City, and also Atlantic City.
Well, so we'll put up that information. Someone wants to volunteer. Ladies, great information. Thank you for sharing this information with our audience. And please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. If you're fighting a speeding ticket, you may not necessarily need a lawyer. However, there are other situations where it may be to your best interest to have one. Joining me is local attorney Jonathan Diego to discuss situations where it might be to your best interest to have a lawyer. Jonathan, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having me, Bert.
So obviously you don't always need one, but when is the best time to have a lawyer, would you?
There's different circumstances, at least with my office, that we could provide assistance. I will preface my areas of practice with my general recommendation that anytime you have a legal issue, it always benefits you to at least have a consultation with an attorney, even if you decide not to retain an attorney to go to court. But one of the areas of practice that I think it's very important to have an attorney assist you is when you have a work injury, workers' compensation practice. That's one definite area where you would like to get assistance.
So what's the benefit? And I know that you may have folks that are pretty loyal to their employer, may get hurt, may not say anything at all, and eventually may end up even losing their jobs because they didn't take that precautionary measure to protect themselves. What advice do you give?
That's a great question. Under New Jersey law, if you're injured on the job, you cannot use your private health insurance to get medical treatment. So if I was to injure my back on the job, if I try to use my private health insurance, eventually my private health insurance will determine by looking at the records that it was a work-related injury, and then I would have to reimburse my private health insurance out of my own pocket.
Wow.
So unless you want to pay tens of thousands of dollars possibly out of your own pocket, the best recourse and the recourse that New Jersey has set up is workers' compensation, where you advise your employer that you were injured on the job, and you ask to be sent to the workers' compensation doctor.
So this is a separate policy that you're actually paying for through your deduction at work, correct?
It's actually a benefit that all employers must provide their employees in New Jersey. It's not anything that comes out of the employee's paycheck per se. Okay. It's a benefit. What I use as an analogy is your dental benefits, your vision benefits. Another benefit that an employer must give you, even if it doesn't give you these other benefits, is workers' compensation coverage.
What constitutes a workplace injury?
You could be lifting a heavy object at work and really injure your back, or slip and fall and injure your shoulder or your neck. And in those situations, you're entitled to three types of benefits. Those are called traumatic events, one-time events. You're entitled to medical treatment through workers' compensation. You're entitled to temporary disability benefits, which are checks that the workers' compensation insurance company provides to you if you're out of work for more than a week, if the authorized treating doctor puts you out of work for
How about injuries that happen over time, kind of the wear and tear, so to speak, of the job?
Sure, exactly. Well, the third benefit, just so you understand, is the permanent partial disability benefits, which does not preclude you from working, but it's money that you're entitled to receive through the workers' compensation insurance carrier after you're done treating, depending upon whether you have a permanent injury. But in regards to your question regarding an occupational or a wear and tear claim, let's say I'm a secretary and I'm typing constantly and I end up developing carpal tunnel. That could be an occupational wear and tear claim. Or if I'm a construction worker and I'm lifting heavy objects or I'm working with high-powered equipment that over time starts putting stress on my back or my shoulders or my neck, that also would be an occupational wear and tear claim.
And there's other situations we want to discuss as well within the workplace. We want to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion. We continue our discussion with Jonathan Diego as we examine situations where you should consider seeking an attorney. Jonathan, we talked about workplace injuries. Let's talk about another one, discrimination in the workplace. Is that something that may be a good idea to have an attorney?
Absolutely. Under New Jersey law, the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination provides protection to individuals that are employed in New Jersey. And what we try to do is protect employees' rights in regards to whether they've been discriminated against, harassed, victim of a hostile work environment, a victim of retaliation for reporting illegal conduct that perhaps their employer or the company's involved in.
So let's talk about what constitutes discrimination in the workplace.
Sure. Well, it could be based upon your gender. It could be based upon your age. It could be based upon your sexual orientation. It could be based upon your creed, your religion. It could also, under New Jersey law against discrimination, it could be based upon your weight.
Is there a specific step that you should take, the individual should take when they're facing those kind of harassment or discriminatory practices?
It's a great question. The first thing that an employee should do if they feel like they've been discriminated against or harassed is contact their immediate supervisor or their human resources representative. Especially if it's a larger company, there's usually an EEO, affirmative action officer, that you should go to and make a written report regarding your concerns and your allegations. If it's a small company and it was your supervisor, your immediate supervisor that allegedly discriminated against you, go to the owner of the company or the president of the company.
Are there other options outside of that?
Well, that's the first thing you should do, because you have to give your employer the opportunity to correct the situation. If you're the victim of discrimination and you don't advise your employer that you've been a victim of discrimination, and you just try to file something with the Division on Civil Rights, the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights, or the EEOC with the federal government, you're going to have some difficulties, because what the law wants to allow employers to correct the situation.
And there are people who just bear and put up with it, so to speak. And so your advice is document.
Absolutely, always document.
What are the remedies available? Obviously, if you file a lawsuit, you may be fearful that you could lose your job, your livelihood.
Sure.
What are the benefits of filing a lawsuit, if you will?
Well, you do have to weigh the benefits, the pros and the cons. If you're still employed with this job and you have concerns about losing your employment, you have to decide whether you want to take the step of hiring an attorney to possibly send a letter to your employer explaining the allegations against a supervisor or against a coworker, and asking the employer to take remedial steps, or possibly filing litigation if no remedial steps were taken by your employer.
And I have to ask this question because it comes up. So I'm talking to my colleague in Spanish in the back of the house, not interfering with customers or not in front of the customers. Is that part of a harassment if they're constantly preventing you from talking to your coworkers in Spanish?
And the short answer is it could be. It depends on the totality of the circumstances. Under New Jersey law, typically it's not going to be one circumstance, although there have been exceptions where one circumstance of illegal or discriminatory conduct could lead to litigation. But typically it'll be more than one situation, but it could.
So that in itself doesn't necessarily mean that they're harassing you or discriminating against you?
By itself, it depends if there's other circumstances surrounding it.
Good. But we want to talk about criminal law in just a moment. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion, and once again with local attorney Jonathan Diego. And Jonathan, we discussed situations where it may be a good idea to have an attorney relating to matters of the job. All those are civil matters, correct?
Correct.
What about criminal court? What advice you give for someone that may be facing some charges on a criminal case?
Any kind of allegations of a violation of the New Jersey Criminal Code, or even Title 39, which is our motor vehicle code, I always encourage individuals to take the time and have a consultation with an attorney. Most criminal defense attorneys will give you a free consultation, whether it's over the phone or in person, and at least that way they can tell you what your options are and what your exposure is if you're found guilty of a criminal code violation or a Title 39 motor vehicle violation, including a DWI, where you could get up to 180 days in the county jail.
Now, there are significant impacts here for immigrants, particularly those who may not be documented. What advice do you give anyone that's been accused that may not have the documentation legal status here?
Sure. If somebody is charged with a crime or even a motor vehicle violation in New Jersey, I encourage them to not only seek out a criminal law attorney, but also an immigration attorney. Because even if you're charged with something in municipal court, a DWI is an offense. Even though it's not a criminal offense, it is a motor vehicle offense that could result in an individual's deportation, regardless of their status. Even if you're here in status, you're here legally. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported even for something as mundane as a first-time DWI.
Now, I know that this may be minor to some individuals that may be using an illegal name or ID for job purposes if you're charged with identity theft. How serious is that?
Not only could you end up in the county jail or the state prison system, more importantly, if an individual wanted to remain here, more than likely they would get deported if they have something that deals with their honesty or veracity.
So although it might be innocent in nature, it may appear that way, it's a very serious matter.
It's absolutely serious. Anytime you are in court, I think it's a very serious situation, and you should always talk to an attorney at the very least.
And another matter that comes up, I believe is a criminal matter, is domestic violence.
Correct. In domestic violence, you could actually be, if you're a defendant or the alleged victim, you could be going to at least two different courts. You could be going to municipal court. Let's say it was a simple assault at home in the context of a relationship. You could be kicked out of your home if you're a defendant and you're charged with domestic violence. You can be kept out of your home if the individual receives a final restraining order. And again, that's a deportable offense. You could end up being deported if you are not a U.S. citizen and you're charged with domestic violence. On the flip side, if you're a victim of domestic violence and you're not in status, you actually have other visas you could apply for as a victim of domestic violence.
Do you recommend that a victim also should be represented?
Always. I always recommend that both the defendant and the victim retain attorneys, so that way if you're a defendant and if you are not in status or you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have to worry about necessarily being deported. You have someone trying to protect your interests. And if you are a victim and you're not in status, possibly get back into status if you're a victim of domestic violence.
Thank you so much for sharing this vital information with our audience, and thank you for joining us once again here on Latino Motion.
Choose to get your feet wet, to learn more about protecting our environment.
Choose to read minds, to understand the human brain.
Choose to get your hands dirty, to create a masterpiece.
Stockton University offers 50 high-quality academic programs, small class sizes, and affordable tuition. Choose to match your interests and talents at one of New Jersey's nationally ranked universities.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, a member of Geisinger. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.